Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. It is Good Friday, so I thought it only appropriate that I bring you an Easter design. So I have gone with a real springtime Easter set in this video. So if you'd like to see how I've created this one, please keep watching. So for this design I am working on Danny, my Elena hand. Tips are all applied, and from the Gems acrylic range I will be using crystal clear. I will also be using a little touch of angel white, the whitest of white acrylics. I have also got this fabulous glitter mix. This is Bambi from the recent Whispers of Spring collection. I absolutely love this glitter mix. And I have got these decals from the Decal Queen. Now, these decals are no longer available, but there are some Bambi and Thumper alternatives on the website, although they aren't Easter ones. So I've picked the decals I want to use in this video, and I've just popped them on my wet sponge. Gonna pop them to one side and forget about them for now and get going with the design. I have already done my thin clear base off camera, so I'm going straight in on the middle finger with angel white. This is going to be the base for my decals because these are the old style decals. I've had them for several years now, and these particular ones do require a white base. The decals that are now available from the Decal Queen have already got the white base printed in, so you can apply them on to any colour. I mean, you could apply them on white if you wanted to, but these old style decals need the white base to show up. So I'm just painting on a nice thin layer of the angel white acrylic on the middle finger, and I will also do the same on the ring finger, and this is my decal base. So while I finish doing that, have any of you got any fabulous plans for the Easter weekend? It's a bit of a strange one in our house because my sister's on holiday in Canada, so it's just my dad, my nephew, the dog and myself. We've had the builders in a week, but obviously we've now got the long weekend with no builders, so it's just us. It's a bit weird. My sister's best friend's been taking the dog out every day, sometimes with the nephew, sometimes without, but she's taken her out over the weekend, so it could just be my dad, my nephew and me. But we are going out to lunch today, or we have gone out to lunch today. I think we'll have gone out to lunch by the time I upload this video, but apart from that we haven't really got any other Easter plans for this weekend. But what about you guys? Are you up to anything nice? Any Easter egg hunts, visits to the Easter bunny? We normally do a nice roast on Easter Sunday, but my sister is the roast queen, so without her, we're not. Hence going out to lunch on the Friday, because my nephew is supposed to be going to his dad's. Whether he goes is another matter and not something for this YouTube video. So we decided instead of our usual Easter roast, we'll go out to dinner or lunch on Good Friday. Well, that was good timing because I have now finished applying my white base for my decals, so I'm going to go straight in and apply them. So wash of clear acrylic, and then I'm going to leave this for a moment just so that it goes tacky. I've got my decals back, they have nicely soaked on my wet sponge, so I'm just going to slide them off the backing, and you could actually see as I held it up that they are quite transparent until you put them on the white, and that just shows that you need the white base for these ones. I'm just using my little silicone tool on the end of my tweezers to push the decals down into that acrylic. I'm just sort of tapping, I'm not smushing or rubbing, I'm just sort of tapping it down. You could use your finger. I like to use my finger to sort of squeeze the side walls, and then I'm repeating the process on the ring finger. Any excess overhang I will either file away or snip away but we will get rid of it. Here you can see I'm just patting that down. I'm not smushing, pulling, ripping it. Well, I'm not smushing or pulling it because I don't want to rip it. Wasn't really stuck down over there, so I just went back in with a little bit of clear acrylic. You can do that if you need to. I want to make sure this is all fully stuck down before I move on to the next nail, and then they'll be ready to encapsulate at the end. So now the decals are applied, I'm going to leave them and we're going to get going with this glitter. So I decided to keep this a really simple set. I picked out these particular decals because I thought A, they went really nicely with this glitter, and B, with the name Bambi for this glitter, what could be more appropriate than Thumper? So as I said, this glitter mix is from the recent acrylic collection, the Whispers of Spring. It is full of so many glitter shapes. It is jam packed. We've got butterflies, we've got flowers, we've got diamonds, we've got little glitter pieces. There is so much going on, and they're all these beautiful spring colours. So I highly recommend working small beads and keeping your brush very wet, keeping your clear acrylic wet, because we don't want it to set too soon. We want time to move all those glitter shapes around using the tip of my brush or the tip of the brush, so you can get them into place, work on building up that full coverage. If you wanted, you could put a fine glitter down as a base. There's so many colours in this glitter, you pick one out, or just go for something iridescent, or you can build it up to the sort of the full coverage like I have done, and sort of fade it out towards the free edge, so it's sort of a glitter fade. I just bashed my hand on the table. So here you can see on the pinky I'm doing exactly the same. So started off with a small bead to get a nice neat cuticle, again nice and wet so I can move those glitter shapes around, and then as I come down the nail I'm just adding bigger beads of glitter, and then using the tip of the brush just to move them around, fill in any gaps, make sure I'm not building up any bulk, patting it down nice and flat, and this is why I want to sort of move the glitter pieces around. And once I'm happy with the coverage, gonna let it set in clear acrylic, I'm going to let it set so that when I encapsulate in clear acrylic I don't smush and move all of those glitter pieces. We are now ready in a second to encapsulate these nails in clear acrylic. We're going to file these to shape, ready to finish off, and oh my goodness, a disaster happened whilst I was filing these nails, so in a moment you are going to find out why. But this is the time to encapsulate and file, and I'll be back with you in a moment. So these nails are now filed, and you will see we've had a little bit of a disaster. So instead of fixing it all before I came on to film the end of the video, I thought I would come on and instead of voicing over how I normally do, sort of talk through and explain, because sometimes accidents, mess ups happen, and you know, we want to know how we can fix them. So this was a case of me thinking I could do several things at once. I was sat filing all the nails of some of the videos I'd filmed for this week, as I do. I had something on TV, and then someone came in my room to talk to me. Instead of doing the sensible thing, switching my e-file off and just focusing on the person who wanted to talk to me and sort of the TV in the background, I thought, nah, I can still do this. So I carried on filing, and to begin with it was all going all right, and then there was a question asked or something was said that made me sort of pause. And unfortunately it wasn't just my mind that paused, it was my hand. And in my hand pausing, I filed away half the decal. I was like, oh, this is so annoying. I looked at it, I thought, oh, do you think maybe I might be able to salvage this? It's just a little bit, it's not much of the decal. Nah, it was enough of the decal that I knew I was not going to be able to salvage it. So I continued filing and filed it down really, really thin as I possibly could. I probably could have gone a bit thinner, and I thought I will come on and we will fix it. So this was my own mistake. It was me being careless. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. So how would I fix it? So this was the nail, hopefully you remember, that had one of these decals. It actually had this decal on, facing the opposite direction. So am I going to use the same one, or am I going to swap it up? I think I'm actually going to swap it up and use a slightly different one now, just because I want him facing that way. It's just me being special. So I'm just going to cut out the decal that I'm going to use. Now, decals don't always have to be encapsulated in clear acrylic. They can be used with gel polish, and that's exactly how I'm going to fix this. So I'm just cutting out my decal. When I am using my decals with gel polish, I take a little bit more care in how I'm cutting them out. Now, I know that probably sounds a bit like, well, you should take that sort of care when you're cutting them out for acrylic as well. But because they encapsulate really nicely with acrylic, I don't worry too much if there's a little bit of excess overhang, because you don't really see it. But sometimes it can bobble up a bit with gel polish. So I prefer to use full decals with acrylic and some of the smaller ones with gel polish. But in this situation, it's not quite gone to plan. As I said, this is my own stupid fault. So there's no point in me coming up with excuses. This was my own stupid fault. So we're going to fix it. So I've given these a really, really good clean now, and I am going to go in with Angel White from Gems Acrylic range. This is the same white I used in acrylic, it's just the gel polish. I'm going to go in, I'm going to hope I can get away with one coat, because there's still a lot of white acrylic on the nail. It was just that little bit at the free edge, and I'm just hoping that I'm going to be able to cover it enough. So there we have a nice coat of Angel White gel polish. I think I'm just going to get a detailer brush and tidy up around that free edge, because not the free edge, sorry, around the cuticle, just so that I've got it nice and neat. Tidying up. So if you have time, so you're working on a client and you had time, you could file right back down to your to your clear base and reapply with acrylic that way. However, if you don't have the time, we can fix it this way. We're all cured now, and the little decal has been on my wet sponge. We're going to slide it off the backing and place it down on the nail, and I'm just going to gently, lightly tap it in place. Just use the little end here, the really careful because I don't want to get any fluff on that gel polish. That is, I find, the one thing I never get with acrylic, but with gel polish, just occasionally we attract a little bit of fluffy dusty. Just going to trim it away here. I'm going to trim it in slightly further. Again, with acrylic, I would tend to just leave this and I would file it away at the end. But so there he is, stuck back down, or my decal's back in place after my little meltdown. I'm going to now go in with a layer of base coat. Now this is my preferred method with gel polish. You could go in with a builder gel, but one that you can use relatively thin. You could go in with Felicity Flex if you are using the Gems range. I personally don't think it needs to be quite as thick as those to protect the decals. I think Betty is enough, but that is my personal preference, and also I'm not working on clients. I'm only really doing this on myself and practice hands, so it may be that I might find I need something else. You could do 2 top coats, but I just prefer to use something like Betty Base. But also, as I said, I don't normally do full cover decals on with gel polish. I tend to save them for acrylic, where I know I can really encapsulate them. So we're going to pop that in the lamp to cure, and then we're going to come and finish off with Tina Top. If you were going to use something like Felicity Flex or a builder gel, you could at this point wipe off and just buff or file just around the free edges, just to get rid of any overhang. If you were working on a client, I would highly recommend doing that, because that overhang could potentially cause lifting if you haven't properly capped it. You don't have that problem with acrylic because it's all nicely encapsulated. Because this is just my practice hand, I'm not going to worry about doing that. Plus I use Betty Base and I rather not, but you could top coat it, buff it around the edges, and then do a second top coat as well if that was the preferred method. But now I'm just going to Tina Top all of these nails. I had actually originally considered putting some crystals on that Thumper nail, but given the circumstances, I'm not going to bother. I've just swiped my brush underneath just to help pick up just to help make that look even clearer, should I say. So as I finish top coating this, obviously you all know normally I do all my designs and then I voice over at the end so that I can just speed things up a little bit more. Those of you who watch sort of my unboxing and some of my swatching videos, you will know I can get a little bit chatty. I mean, to be honest, even when I voice over, I can get a little bit chatty at times. But I know I've got a time limit on my chattiness because I've already edited the video down. But would some sort of real-time talk as I go videos be something you might be interested in as well? Like, not something I would do all the time, but something you might like to see more of. Let me know. I've said in a few videos recently, you know, I'd love some ideas of any different sorts of videos you might like to see, what sort of content you would be interested in. So, you know, please let me know in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. So just finished top coating these nails. Again, I've just swiped my brush underneath this one, and what I would suggest you do is on a client, cure and then get them to flip their hand so you can make sure it's all fully cured underneath. With the practice hand, you're gonna have to do it for them, but sometimes when they're really clear tips, it cures anyway, or you might just find you want to flip it and just cure it for sort of 30 seconds because it's already pretty well cured. So here they are, all fully cured, out of the lamp, and this design is finished. I love how they have come together. Even with my cock up and almost meltdown, I've managed to fix that nail, and I still think this design has turned out really pretty. It's a really nice spring Easter set and a super simple one. I also hope you found that useful, sort of showing how I would fix a mistake like that. I can't call it a mistake. It purely was carelessness on my part and thinking I could do too many things at once, which I can't. Now, usually when I'm sat voicing over videos, I have a rough idea of what days of the week I'm going to be uploading each video. So at this point I'm able to say, this is my blah 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 video of the week, and I will be back again on da da da. But that's not the case because I'm talking as I'm filming. So I think I had in my head that this was going to be Friday's video, being that it's Good Friday. So let's go with that. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video and had or having a wonderful Good Friday. What plans have you got for this Easter weekend? Please let me know. I'm actually out to lunch with my dad and my nephew today, so might be back home by the time this is uploaded. Really not sure. I'm talking into the future. But yes, I hope you're having a wonderful Easter weekend. I do have one more Easter design for you, which will be uploaded on Sunday, and that will also be my final video using the glitter of the week, which I've not featured in this video purely because I wanted to use this beautiful Bambi glitter, and I thought, what a perfect Easter design. As always, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to leave me any comments down below. I've mentioned a couple of things in this video of other suggestions of types of videos and content you might like to see. Please let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys and have a few more ideas of the content you'd like me to bring on this channel, so please let me know, and also let me know what you think of this design. If you're new to my channel or you just haven't done so already, please click subscribe. I would love to have you join me here also, and make sure you check out the description box because I will pop all the product details and the links in there. These particular decals are no longer available at the Decal Queen, but there are a few alternatives, and I do know there are some Thumper and Bambi ones on there because I was scrolling through the website this morning. Everything else I've used is from the nail team, and don't forget you can use Helen 5 for 5% off all full price products. That is it from me for today. Enjoy the rest of your Good Friday and the rest of your Easter weekend. I'll be back with my final video of the week on Sunday, but until then, thanks so much for watching and I will see you soon. Bye. Mwah.